I have more leaves than I did last year. By every measure, I am better off. And yet, right now, I feel poorer somehow, because the neighboring burrow had grown bigger than mine. This year, the sugarcane farms of the Black Ant Kingdom had a record harvest. The queen distributed more leaves to every ant in the kingdom. I received more than last year. Back in my burrow, I stacked my leaves and felt quiet satisfaction. But as evening came, a sound drifted over from the neighboring burrow. It was the sound of construction. The neighboring ant was expanding the burrow. I heard they got twice as many leaves as us. The rumor spread across the kingdom. That night, I counted my leaves again. They looked like fewer than before. Nothing had changed. The next morning, I walked past the neighboring burrow. The entrance was wider than the day before. I turned and looked at my own entrance. It looked narrow. Just yesterday, it had felt perfectly fine. In 1949, economist James Duesenberry put this into a formal theory. Human satisfaction is determined not by absolute income, but by comparison with those around us. Even if you have more, if your neighbor has more still, you feel dissatisfied. Even if you have less, if your neighbor has lost more, you feel relatively fine. This is called the relative income hypothesis. I had become better off, but the moment I compared myself to the neighboring ant, I felt poor. Comparison had rewritten reality. The neighboring ant hung a large leaf ornament at the entrance of the burrow. It served no purpose. It was simply there to look impressive. Within days, ornaments began appearing on burrows all across the kingdom. Not because anyone needed them, but because everyone wanted to be seen. 19th-century economist Thorstein Veblen identified this pattern precisely. People consume not out of need, but to signal their status to others. This is called conspicuous consumption. Before I realized it, the leaves I should have saved had become ornaments. Comparison had created desire, and desire had created spending. I expanded my burrow. For a moment, I was satisfied. Then the ant in the burrow above built something even larger. Dissatisfaction returned. I expanded further. Again, satisfaction, but only for a moment. This time, the ant in the hilltop burrow built something far grander. Satisfaction was always temporary. This is called the hedonic treadmill. The more you gain, the higher your baseline rises. And the benchmark you compare yourself against rises with it. Happiness stays exactly where it started. The total leaves in the kingdom had grown. The total happiness in the kingdom had shrunk. The ants chose spending over saving. They chose comparison over cooperation. The kingdom's savings rate fell. Investment in the sugarcane farms declined. The kingdom grew more dazzling on the outside and more hollow within. The wider the inequality, the more frequent the comparisons. The more frequent the comparisons, the deeper the jealousy. The deeper the jealousy, the more the kingdom slowly crumbles. Today, I walk past the neighboring burrow again. I clearly have more than I did last year. So why does it still feel like it's not enough? And I leave you with one question. Of everything you want right now, how many of those things do you truly want for yourself? Thank you. See you in the next story.